If you are importing from China, what is the first thing you do? You open your laptop, type in Alibaba, and start searching. It seems like the most logical thing to do. After all, Alibaba is the biggest wholesale platform in the world, entirely in English. You probably think that by scrolling through those pages, you are looking directly into the heart of Chinese manufacturing. But what if the best, most competitive, and most reliable factories in China are completely invisible on that platform? In fact, many of them do not even have a single web page on the English internet. If you are only sourcing through Alibaba, you are only seeing a tiny fraction of the market. And often, it is the most expensive and least efficient fraction. Let us talk about why this is the case, and where those hidden top-tier factories actually are. To understand why the best factories avoid Alibaba, we have to look at the math of running an online store on the platform. Many buyers assume that opening a shop on Alibaba is cheap. It is not. For a Chinese factory to get any real visibility, they have to pay a massive amount of money. First, there is the annual gold supplier membership fee, which costs thousands of dollars. But that is just the ticket to enter the game. To actually get on the first page of search results, factories have to spend heavily on keyword bidding and paid advertisements. If you do not pay, your factory is buried on page 50, and no one will ever find you. On top of that, Alibaba requires these shops to have dedicated, English-speaking sales teams to respond to inquiries within minutes, manage the online interface, and handle international shipping. Now, think about a true, high-quality manufacturing plant in China. What are they good at? They are good at engineering, optimizing assembly lines, and keeping production costs as low as possible. They usually operate on thin profit margins, sometimes just 5 to 10%. They do not have marketing departments or staff who speak fluent English. For a factory like this, spending $10,000 a year on international marketing and hiring a team of English-speaking sales representatives simply does not make financial sense. It ruins their cost structure. If they forced themselves to do it, they would have to raise their product prices by 20 or 30% just to cover the marketing overhead. So, who are those sellers on Alibaba who have flawless English, beautiful product photos, and respond to your messages in 3 minutes? Many of them are trading companies. They are middlemen. They have fancy offices, great marketing teams, and excellent English. They buy from the real, quiet factories in the countryside, put their own markup on the price, and sell it to you. There is nothing wrong with trading companies, but you are not getting factory direct prices. You are paying a premium for their marketing and English skills. The other type of seller you find on Alibaba is the second-tier or third-tier factory. These are factories that cannot survive on domestic orders because their quality or efficiency is not competitive enough. So they turn to Alibaba to find foreign buyers who do not know the local market and are willing to pay higher prices. The absolute best factories in China, the ones that are constantly booked with massive orders, do not need Alibaba. They are already running at full capacity just by serving the domestic market and large domestic trading companies. If they are not on Alibaba, where are they? How do they find customers, and how do Chinese domestic buyers find them? The answer lies in the Chinese domestic internet ecosystem. In China, business does not run on emails, websites, or Google searches. It runs on 2 main platforms, WeChat and Douyin, which is the Chinese version of TikTok. In the West, TikTok is mostly for entertainment, dancing, and comedy. But in China, Douyin has become one of the biggest search engines for business-to-business sourcing. If you open Douyin in China and search for a product, like plastic injection molding or industrial packaging, or steel fabrication, you will find thousands of live streams and short videos. These are not polished advertisements. They are raw, real, behind-the-scenes videos filmed by factory owners and workshop managers on their smartphones. You will see a factory owner walking through his workshop, showing the brand-new machinery he just bought, explaining how they solved a complex engineering problem, and showing the exact quality of the raw materials they are using. They will stream their assembly line live for hours, showing the actual production process in real time. It is completely authentic. There are no sales pitches, no glossy photos, just raw manufacturing power. For a local Chinese buyer, this is the ultimate proof of capability. They can see the factory is real, and they can judge the quality instantly. The second platform is WeChat. In China, WeChat is not just a messaging app. It is the operating system of daily life and business. Every single factory owner, manager, and worker in China is on WeChat. When a factory finishes a new batch of products or upgrades a production line, they do not update a website. They post a video or a photo on their WeChat Moments, which is like a private social media feed. Their network of local buyers, trading agents, and material suppliers see this instantly. If a buyer needs something, they send a quick message on WeChat, get a quote in 30 seconds, send a deposit via WeChat Pay, and the deal is done. It is incredibly fast, efficient, and built entirely on trust and local networks. This brings us to another unique aspect of the Chinese supply chain, which is the concept of one county, one industry. In China, factories of the same industry do not spread out across the country. They cluster together in specific towns and villages. For example, there is a town where almost every household makes zippers. There is a village where everyone produces custom screws. Because they are all neighbors, they share information, raw materials, and labor instantly. If a small factory gets a massive order, they do not buy new machines. They walk next door and ask their neighbor to run their machines to help fill the order. These local networks are deeply rooted in rural and suburban China. The people running these workshops are often farmers turned manufacturers. Their cost of living is extremely low, and they do not have expensive corporate overhead. They are happy to sell products at incredibly low prices, because as long as they earn slightly more than they would from farming, they are satisfied. These village factories are the true source of the incredibly cheap prices you hear about. But they do not have websites. They do not speak English. They do not accept international wire transfers. They only deal in Chinese yuan, and they only communicate through WeChat or local phone calls. They sell their goods to domestic trading companies or local sourcing agents who come to their villages in person. So, when you source on Alibaba, you are essentially looking at a heavily filtered, highly polished, and significantly more expensive version of the Chinese supply chain. The real, raw, highly competitive heart of Chinese manufacturing is hidden deep within these local domestic networks. To access them, you cannot rely on the English internet. You have to navigate the domestic ecosystem, understand the local business culture, and tap into the networks where the real factory owners actually talk to each other. Once you look past the English websites, you realize that the world of Chinese sourcing is much larger, much cheaper, and far more fascinating than what you see on a single browser tab.